that UMTAPO is advocating for?
I was born at Mtansane, and but in 1985 we had to move to Qongqotha, which is here. By then I was doing standard 5. We moved because of the constant raids by the then the Ciskei Defense Police, because my cousin brother was involved in a political struggle. So my mother decided that we move and come and stay here. During my school days, it was not easy because at home my mother was the only one who was working, and we were 7 and also staying with the extended families.
My mother wanted me to be a teacher, and I was not interested because I could feel that it's not a job for me. But I want to do something with the community. I want to work with people, but not into being a teacher, because she was also a teacher.
And then I left for Joburg in 1992. I worked as a part-time worker with the Soweto Dance Theatre. And then I stayed there from 1992 up until 96. When my mother was sick, so I had to come back because there was no one to look after her. And we were so close, and I was like more a sister to her. So I came, I stayed home, I was not working. My mother passed away, so things got very hard. So this is where I stay. This is my family. To stay here with my mother and my late mother and my late grandmother. 19 inside this house, because we're staying with the extended family. So that's how I picked up all the values of sharing, share whatever you have with the people around you, no matter how small it is. So in 1998, I was introduced by a friend called Qongqotha to UMTAPO Center. I went for my first training, and it was in Esplanade Hotel in East London.
Initially it was not called Peace and Anti-Racism Education, we called it Peace Education. The fact that it was a holistic approach to peace education, which included human rights, included anti-racism, included environmental education and so on, led to the later establishment of peace and anti-racism education.
I don't believe that the people who've been oppressed for 300 years would wake up in 1994 and change their constitution, and then suddenly everything is all okay. Nothing is going to happen. And so what this course has helped to do has been to bring to the knowledge and to the consciousness of people what their own role is in the building of a new nation, and how that role that they want to play cannot be successful unless they know who they are, where they come from, what road they have traveled to be where they are, and what the obstacles are going to be. And therefore it is important for anybody who has been raised in the society to understand the role of racism in our psychological makeup.
The PARE program is probably the most all-inclusive qualitative program related to peace and anti-racism. It challenges the whole notion of peace, it challenges the notion of racism, and it challenges the notion of the kind of world in which we want to live.
And then when I was introduced to peace education, then that's how I felt like, yeah, now I think I'm on the right track, because the knowledge that I have in a way is opened, in a way answered all the confusion that I had with all the things that were happening around me, why people are not working, the question of poverty, having to go to sleep without a plate of food, or going through the day with one meal. So when UMTAPO trained me on peace education, in a way all my questions were answered, because I could make the linkage now, and then I felt the need that, okay, now I've got this information with me, and then let me go and plow it back to my community. Of which I did. I came back, I ran trainings especially for young people, on issues of peace and issues of peace and poverty. When we were working, our people could feel the impact of the program. So they wanted to know where can they find us. By then we didn't have an office. I was using my home as an office. I was using my bed as my office furniture and what. So we used to sit around with friends, because I was not only working alone. I was working also with young people who became interested in the program. So by then we didn't have an office. And then we sent reports to UMTAPO that UMTAPO, this is because we did that. Once you run a workshop or you do something in connection with peace education, you will write reports and send to them. So we reported to them that we don't have an office. And UMTAPO said, okay, you don't have an office, but there's nothing we can do. If you're saying you're self-reliant enough, then you will make means to make sure that you have an office.
Fundamental to UMTAPO's work are the principles of critical awareness, critical thinking, and self-reliance. We believe that for people to be able to make conscious decisions about their lives, they need to have the capacity to be able to think critically. And at the same time, we need to ensure that whatever we do in the process of empowerment, it is to enable people to be able to become self-reliant and not dependent on others. Because huge amounts of money don't exist indefinitely to sustain an organization. The organization has to be, for us, sustained by the people themselves. So all the peace centers, without exception, the peace centers were started by young unemployed people who were trained by us, who became enthusiastic about the ethos, the conviction that we had towards peace and anti-racism. We at the national office at UMTAPO don't provide any funds for the centers. So we ensure that they use whatever resources are available in those communities.
So most of us were working as volunteers, which we still are. We didn't have funding, but we said, no, we're not going to wait for money. Money will just come. But what is needed now is to work and conscientize people. And then we opened this center in July 2000. We didn't have furniture, we had nothing, and but we went on asking for donations. Ultimately, we got a funder.
When we received funding now, we really concentrated more on our trainings, especially workshops for young people in issues of peace, human rights, gender in development, because that's one of the crucial issues that are coming up, especially the question of gender, because in rural areas there is this thing that means superiority of men and what, because of the tradition, because of culture, and so in a way we try to conscientize people and tell them that this is the situation. As much as we are talking about our culture and what, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have to subordinate or exploit other people and what. So now that this center is here, at least it's giving hope to people, because people from rural areas, they are out of reach of, like, they don't have access to resources.